India is a great nation, and its glorious journey is deeply connected with Dr. Raghunath Mashelkar's inspiring life. His visionary mother knew that an education is equal to a bright future, so they moved to Mumbai. He studied under street lamps like thousands of other Indian children. Back home, things began changing over the years. New industries were being established in several critical sectors. Eager to be a part of this transformation, Dr. Mashelkar and his wife returned to their homeland. Transforming the National Chemical Laboratory into an international chemical laboratory became his mission. When United States of America attempted to patent the healing properties of turmeric, Dr. Mashelkar fought back, as haldi had been used for healing in India for centuries. He protected Indian traditional knowledge and became known as the warrior of Haldi Ghati. As India's economy flourished, private sector companies such as Tata, Bajaj and Reliance emerged and started relying on Dr. Mashelkar's advice to embrace innovation. He now continues to inform and inspire every Indian through his insightful books and powerful speeches. With all these efforts, India is slowly but surely climbing the innovation ladder. The country has recognized Dr. Mashelkar's contributions through the Padmashri, Padmabhushan and Padma Vibhushan. But his dream for India goes much further. He dreams that one day every Indian will be healthy, that every child pursues the best education, that poverty is eradicated, that Indians win multiple Nobel Prizes, and above all, that there is a smile on every Indian's face. Dr. Mashelkar's mother had said, "Ramesh, please do something for India's poor people." To achieve this goal, he has established the Anjani Mashelkar Foundation. His life has always been about putting India first. He often says that if God grants him just one wish, he would like to come back to earth for one day in 2050 to see India as the world's top nation.
The video that we saw here, right, this was, by the way, edited into half because Manjari said we have only so much time, otherwise you would have seen his full life. But I'm still amazed, and by the way, I've had the front row seat to watch most of his life unfold in front of my eyes, right? And I'm still amazed that how he's managed to achieve 10x in this life. We all have the same number of hours a day, But how come he has managed 10x than a normal person? I'm still amazed. And I also understand that this eventful life is a culmination of eventful days put together, right? Although I know, I've seen that very closely, maybe it will be nice if you can give us a glimpse into a day in your life. Choose any day that you want, because any day is very eventful, I know that.
First of all, Manjari, thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity. Talking to you, Sushil, is something very, very special for me. I've done a number of fireside chats, but speaking with you, I'm really nervous. Thank you. Yeah, your question, you know, all days have been same for me, if you ask me. I'll tell you something. I've been down with viral fever for the last few days. Day before yesterday, I did not know whether I'll be able to speak. But yesterday, in the morning, I opened a leadership summit, gave the opening keynote. After that, I inaugurated the Symbiosis Book Festival. And in the evening, our India International Center Longevity Center had this program where I instituted an award in my mother's memory. It is called Anjani Mashelkar Inspiration Award. And it is given to a lady who, like her, has done sacrifices and has risen to great heights in terms of social transformation and so on and so forth. So that was a day yesterday. But I'll tell you, this December has been a very interesting day. I mean, I go back to 8 December. Can you imagine morning with a Bharat Ratna, afternoon with a Nobel laureate, and evening with Chief Justice of India?
Wow.
So I'll explain to you what happened. My guru is mentor, and I'm what I'm because of him, is Professor C.N.R. Rao. He is Bharat Ratna, as you all know. And he turned 90, so there was a celebration. And there were people from all around the world who came, and I was supposed to speak. In fact, Dr. Kasurangan spoke first, and then I spoke. And Professor C.N.R. Rao has played a very special role in my life. He actually has guided me, even scolded me when I've done something wrong. And it's amazing. Can you just imagine, there is this Science Advisory Council to the Prime Minister, and at the age of 42, he picked me up as a member. I was a baby of the team. So giving me an early start, and I had a helicopter's view of the world at such a young age. And incidentally, it was that year where even the Bhopal disaster that took place, where 2,600 people died overnight. I was made the technical assessor for the inquiry commission. That was I was very young, and it was a tremendous experience. He is a person with great courage and conviction. He has been honored around the world. Bharat Ratna is, of course, the highest, but Nobel Prize, accepting that, I think he has received everything. What is most important, Manjari, at 90, he told us that I live for science, I love science. I don't know what I'll be doing if I was not doing science. And he said, I want my last day, I want to go while I'm doing science. And then we wished him that in next 10 years, let him do more than what he has done in the 90 years. That was the feeling there. He goes to the lab every day at 90. So that was my morning, such an inspirational session. Then in the afternoon, we had this challenge because I had to be in Bangalore and had to be in Mumbai. Because these Jamnalal Bajaj Awards, which are given for those who preserve, protect, practice Gandhian values. There are 4 awards that are given, each of 20 lakh. They're the most prestigious awards. And I have been the chairman of the jury, so I had to perform a function in the evening. So how do you, in the morning be in Bangalore and in the evening be in Mumbai? So they organized a special plane, and that was a blessing in disguise because the Nobel laureate Kailash Satyarthi was also coming by that plane. So can you just imagine having 2 hours one-on-one with Kailash Satyarthi? As you know, he has done some incredible work in terms of child labor, and what he has done is absolutely monumental. In fact, Sushil has interviewed him, by the way, and it's an amazing interview where he comes out as a new Gandhi plus, if I may put.
I called him my Mahatma.
Yeah, you called him my Mahatma. The incredible man. And can you just imagine, I had a one-on-one with him, and he has set up sort of a wonderful movement. He calls it globalization of compassion. So what is so special? You know, and he distinguishes empathy and compassion, by the way. Sympathy and compassion. Because empathy and sympathy that you feel, that's it, and you don't do anything about it. Compassion, he told me, is something where not only you feel, but act and do something in terms of eliminating the cause of the discomfort or depravity or whatever you have seen. And it was one of the most engaging conversations in my life, I will tell you. I learned so much. And then in the evening, these awards were given, and they were incredible people who got these awards actually. Because today's world, which is full of conflict, full of inequalities, full of human misery, Gandhian values are even more important than they were sort of in the past. So this award is for that. And the 4 we call them Gandhian warriors. They're incredible. But then I call Justice Chandrachud a Gandhian warrior. Because the way he has fought for access equality to legal processes for the poor and the deprived is absolutely incredible, basically. And his speech is one of the most inspiring speeches I've heard. So can you just imagine a day in the life like 8 December? I've been very lucky.
And then thousands of days like this. In fact, let me read out, what do I call this now? X, formerly Twitter. After they met in the plane, Mr. Kailash Satyarthi ji tweeted, and I'm quoting him now, "I always felt truly humbled and deeply inspired by the company of Dr. Mashelkar ji. God has sent him with the soul of a saint, the genius mind of one of the greatest scientists of our time, and the compassionate heart of a humanitarian. India is proud of you, my elder brother." Fantastic.
Good.
Excellent.
I
And
think
I can tell you he meant this because he said this twice when I met him. Once in the green room when he realized that I'm related to you. Second on the stage, also when we had 500 people listening to him, the first thing he mentioned was exactly this, that he was there and respected you so much, and I can imagine what great 2 hours you would have had in the flight. Talking about compassion, I think one of the things, and I've seen this film many times, but one of the things when the sand artist was drawing Aji's face, I could see only one thing, and that was compassion, because Aji was all about compassion. Aji is his mother, the great Srimati Anjani Mashelkar, and she taught us compassion to all of us. I'm sure she taught you compassion. I'm sure you would have used that teaching in your life. In fact, for everything, I can summarize you as a leader who has applied compassion to science and technology. Not many people have done that. And if you can tell us how Aji's compassion has influenced your work and your life.
Yes, you know, it is like this, on this very stage on 17 November, I had to say, Aji is no more, but she is everywhere for me, actually. She was a unique person. I think most of you know that I was born in a very poor family, and as a young widowed mother, she brought me up in Mumbai, facing all sorts of hardships. But epitome of courage, conviction, compassion. It was an incredible lady. So, in terms of compassion, I'll give you an example, because most of you know about this turmeric story. All right, because this is called Haldi Ghati Ki Ladai and Pattern War, which actually changed the world, as I'll explain later. But many of you will not know that it was something that Aji did, because of which I took that action. Without that, I don't think that would have happened. So let me explain. So I remember it was a summer day, and I was the director of NCL, and we were sitting not far from here in director's bungalow, and on the terrace, and Vaishali was there, my wife, Amey was there, my son, Aji was there, and suddenly a bird came and fell, and he had broken his wing. The first thing Aji did was to go down and bring turmeric powder.
That was typical Aji.
Make a piece and apply it to the bird. And the bird died after a couple of hours, and Amu was feeding him, water and so on. And then we all cried because we had fallen in love with the bird. And then when I went down and we had a dinner, I asked her, how did you know that what works for a human being will work for a bird? And what she told me was profound. She said that all living beings are the same. Whether it's a bird, whether it's a tree, it's an animal, a human, etc. Mind you, she had never gone to school. Education does not mean wisdom, but she had the wisdom. That touched me somehow or other. Then, Sushil, when I was in Delhi, I was looking at Times of India, and I suddenly found there was a newspaper item that wound healing properties of turmeric were patented in US. I said, come on. My mother knew it, my mother's mother knew it. How can they do that? And I think from here, not from here. So in the evening, there was a public function where I was giving the Hussein Zahir Memorial Oration. And I said, I'm going to fight this battle. And everybody was sort of taken aback. I mean, because I was secretary to Government of India and did not take government's permission and just uttered what I thought from here.
You can't do it now. You can't do it now.
That's right. And then I remember we filed the US patent case and we won it within 14 months. And it was very easy to win, very frankly. There was no big deal in that, because all that we had to show was that we were using this knowledge previously. And it did not meet the criteria of novelty. But that had a big impact, because then what happened was that I became the chairman of World Intellectual Property Organization standing committee for 2.5 years. And that was the time I argued, because there were 176 nations. I said, how can you say that knowledge generated in Harvard, Caltech, Princeton, Oxford, Cambridge's knowledge, and that generated by my predecessors in laboratories of life is not knowledge? And then we forced them to change the international patent classification system, basically. I remember doing that. And for the first time, they were not considering traditional knowledge as knowledge at all. Okay? And the first time, they created 251 subgroups from zero. Okay? And that made a big difference, actually. That led to traditional knowledge digital library of more than 3 crore places. So all wrong patents now are gone, because I fought the battle of turmeric, I fought the battle of basmati and all that, etc. We don't have to fight, because there is this evidence which has been captured basically in this traditional knowledge digital library, and the world has changed sort of completely. But I can assure you, and this is considered now as one of the biggest stories and so on and so forth, in terms of recognition of traditional knowledge. But mind you, I wonder if that bird had not fallen there, and my mother had not applied haldi, and then given me that profound knowledge, would I have done it? So she has had that sort of influence on me.
If that did not happen, we would have had to ask America for permission to apply haldi today, to eat basmati and all the other products that we do. But compassion, your great friend Professor Anil Gupta says it's samvedna, where you don't just say karuna, because compassion again is slightly away. Samvedna is, can you feel the pain of the other person, exactly the same pain, and then of course take an action. So Aji taught you to feel the same pain but also take action, which was compassion. But obviously I think traditional knowledge was one part, but then you're also known globally to really champion the cause of making high technology work for the poor. I think when you are in National Chemical Laboratory, when you are DG of CSR, when you are on global platforms, I think that is something that you champion. So maybe something that you can tell us.
Interestingly, Sushil, this Anjani Mashelkar Foundation that you talked about, I think it is interesting to know how it began. What used to happen was that I was in Delhi as a Director General of CSR, and every weekend I used to come. My science continued, by the way. So I used to be in the lab. Friday evening I'll come, go straight to the lab, come late at night. Saturday I'll be in the lab, and Sunday before going, whatever money I had, I will give it to mother. I used to always carry cash, even just now I carry cash. And we never asked her what she did with that cash. After she passed away, that was 17 November 2006, Shruti, who is in the audience, yeah, she is there. She actually was organizing her saris and she found all that money there, all that money. And there was a little chit there, in which she said, don't forget our beginnings and use this money to do something for the poor, those who do something for the poor. That is where the Anjani Mashelkar Foundation was created. It gives awards, and these awards are, the awardees must meet two criteria. The first is making high technology work for rich is very easy. Making low technology work for the poor is very easy. Making high technology work for the poor is very difficult. So that's the first. Secondly, I'm not a great believer in best practice. I'm a believer in next practice. Because when you say best practice, you are copying somebody. Next practice, you are creating something which becomes best practice for others. Because I've always said India must lead, not follow. Okay? And amazingly, on 17 November we give these awards. We just had a function over here where an incredible innovation got an award. But the interesting part about this is that there have been 14 awards so far, and each one of them meet this criteria. And they have made a huge difference, basically, in terms of touching the lives of millions of people around the world, actually. Just to illustrate the point, I brought here two things which I'll show you what they mean. Can you imagine what is this? This is portable ECG. So come on, ECG is a big machine. You go and lie down there. There are 12 leads that have been put there. Then nurse comes, takes a reading, etc., etc. How can this toy be a portable ECG? This toy, this portable ECG is now in 12 countries. And there have been 3 million scans already done. All right, all around the world it has made a difference. How does it work? You know, there are two sensors here. You put your thumbs for 15 seconds. This is your heart. This is a sensor. 15, 15, 15 seconds above the heart. 15, 15, 15 seconds below the heart. And within 3 minutes or so, if you have downloaded an app called Sanket and you have this device, basically, your 12-lead ECG will come to you, anywhere you are. Now, Manjari, you can imagine what difference it will make. Supposing there is a poor woman, old woman, in a village, and she has a pain at night. She had to be put in a bullock cart or a motorcycle or a jeep and taken a few kilometers. She doesn't have to do that. As long as there is a connectivity, she does this and this happens. This is ultimate of inclusive innovation. What is this? This is something that is created by a young man, Senthil. What he found was that his sister was pregnant and in a village had to travel several kilometers to go to the doctor every month and do her checkup 10-15 minutes and come back. He said, why do we have to do that? So what he created is this device basically, which is IoT sensor-based system which can actually measure and monitor 7 of your parameters, actually, you know. Of course, there is a sort of another device which has to be used in order to connect with this. Okay, and she just wears it. This is a wearable. Now, what difference it has made is absolutely incredible. You know, again, how many million scans?
3.5 million.
3.5 million.
Yeah.
3.5 million. And this is going to thousands of villages now. Can you just imagine? Not only that, there is a challenge of even nutrition monitoring, so as to say. Even that can be done on this, because this is one of our greatest challenge. I mean, I remember Professor Swaminathan, who has gone. I remember, he's no more, but I remember an instance where I gave the Raghunath Memorial oration, and I remember, you know, I tried to exaggerate a bit. So I was talking about grey revolution. You said you have done green revolution. There is a grey revolution because 0.06% of India's population with average age of 26 and a half is generating 1/3 of our exports. I was talking about IT and IT-related services. And I remember, he in a way rebuked me. He said, Mashelkar, you just don't understand the number of women who have malnutrition, mothers, and because their babies are born where there is no brain development, you just don't understand. So we must not have only green revolution, but nutritional revolution. Now, how do you ensure that that nutritional revolution takes place? Can you imagine a technology like this actually helps to do that? So I will not go on long, but all that I would say is that I'm very happy and proud that we started this particular foundation, sending a new message about inclusive innovation. And once again, that money that she had kept, but with that little note, made all that difference. You might be surprised that I'm linking everything to her, but yes, that is how it is.
Absolutely. You're one of the few sons who in the world who has achieved so much and still dedicates all the achievement to his mother. But from a journey from a boy studying under street lamp in Mumbai to going to Rashtrapati Bhavan and taking Padma Vibhushan award from the President of India, this journey, obviously beyond compassion, Aji would have inspired you to do much more. Can you just give us some examples of that?
Yes, actually, you know, it is interesting. I was very good at maths.
You still are.
And I would always get 100 out of 100. Occasionally, I will get 97. You know, she would sit down. Remember, a mother who had never gone to school. I was happy with the 97 I got. She was looking for the 3 that I lost. That is the standard, she said. Then other things happened in my life. For example, I mean, I came to know about this because when I was 60 years, there was a celebration, and when Varsha Joshi from Sakar interviewed her, without her knowing her, because she had the microphone in her, the recording device in her purse. And she went on, she made her talk, and she kept on talking. That is how we got to know. So apparently she had gone to, every day was a struggle for us. 2 meals a day was a challenge. So every day she had to find some job, some stitching, something or the other. And she had gone to Pradhana Samaj for looking for sort of a job. And when her turn came, they asked her whether she is a 3rd standard pass. No, third standard doesn't have a certificate. She could have lied, but she never lied in her life, basically. And she said no, and she said, I've been insulted simply because I did not have any education. And therefore, she actually said that I'm going to make sure that, she used to call me Ramesh. Ramesh will have the highest education. I don't know what it is. So when I had the bachelor's degree, she said, I found out it is a PhD, you must do PhD. After PhD, I got actually a job. She said, no, there is something called postdoctoral research, you know. And I have got so far 47 honorary doctorates from around the world. And I remember when I had got 25, I went to her and she said, now I am satisfied. So I think it was her way of setting standards. It doesn't matter whether she was educated or not. I think she had sort of trust in me that I can do better and better. Yeah.
So she had compassion and wisdom. But clearly, I think the focus on education was there right from your childhood. And I know even going forward, you spend a lot of time with students in educating them about how education is important for their future. You yourself going through that journey. So what will be your key message when it comes to education for the future for the young children? Because I believe there are some youngsters also in the audience. What is it that they should be looking at when it comes to education and their future?
Yes, I think one thing is very clear. Right to education is a done deal now in India. But the next question is right education and right way of education. Now, right education implies that it is not just Jnana Savardhan, Buddhi Savardhan, Vichara Savardhan, Vyakti Savardhan, Samata Savardhan, but Mulya Savardhan, values basically. That becomes very, very important now. Education is not just for jobs. Education has to create a better human being. What is that education which will create a better human being? And that is the need of the right way of education. Of course, we know now that the coronavirus made sure that we did not leave our homes. So our homes became the schools, okay? And then the digital world, and as you can see, now basically we are getting back, but it will not be just physical or digital, it will be physical. Because at the end of the day, it is very important to recognize that education is all about learning, doing and being. You can learn something, but doing is a must. But being a part of the society is very, very important. So people who just say, now throw away everything and go digital, no. I think the two will actually continue. So that is the character that is going to change in the future.
I still remember we used to be in South Africa and we had many opportunities of you guiding me, inspiring me. And I had asked you once when you had come there, what is the recipe for success? And he said, it's very simple. Just do more and be more.
Yes.
And now I understand what you mean by that, because you've lived the same life of doing more and being more. When you signed the book where Newton signed, when you got the FRS, all of this would have flashed in front of your life, isn't it? Right from the way Ajay emphasized how education is important to your future, and now that you're telling the same message to the rest.
No, it is interesting, because when I was studying Newton's laws of motion, if somebody had told me you will sign in the same book that Newton has signed, I would not have believed it. And that's a very special honor, FRS, a Fellowship of Royal Society. In 363 years, there have been only 3 engineering scientists who have signed in that book from India. One was Rodhan Narasimha, he is no more. So the only 2 remaining are Professor M.M. Sharma and myself. Professor M.M. Sharma is my guru, and myself. We are the only 2 sort of living ones. That's a very, very special honor indeed. And I might also add that I'm only the only Maharashtrian so far we are signed in that
Excellent.
book. I wish
Makes this event very important.
Yeah.
Newton also had a famous equation, F equals
Yeah,
M
yeah,
into A, and you have a famous equation.
Yes. Yes, I have my own famous equation. Many times, I start my lectures by saying, well, I'm a scientist, so you will expect me to start with an equation. So I normally say this. And this has actually happened. This is not a story that is made up. So I was, I remember sort of participating in a discussion where they said, which is the most powerful equation that the scientists have produced, and somebody said it is Newton. F equal to ma, force equal to mass into acceleration. Somebody said no, it is Einstein, E equal to mc square. And then they came to me, you didn't say anything. I said none of the above, it is E equal to F. E is education, F is future.
Absolutely.
And then of course I go on, I mean I do a proper scientific job, because if you propose something, you have to prove it. So I'll prove it to you, and I say that on 17 March, the equation was proved, 17 March 2000, because on that day Ratan Tata and I got Padmabhushan at the same time, at the hands of K.R. Narayanan. Then people get puzzled, how come that sort of proves? Then I tell them that K.R. Narayanan was born in a very poor family. He walked kilometers to go to school. His parents were so poor that they could not afford tuition fees. So he used to stand outside the class, listen and take notes. And then he got Tata Scholarship, and the rest was history. In my case, the story is the same. I studied under street lights, as you said. Then at secondary school certificate exam, I stood 11th among 135,000 students. I got Tata Scholarship, and the rest is history. Now can you imagine 17 March, where K.R. Narayanan, a Tata scholar, honors Ratan Tata. Because of Tata Scholarship, he became president, and honors another. So that proves E equal to F, as simple as that. So that is my equation, E equal to F.
Absolutely. Manjari, we are at your Pune Lit Fest, and many authors here. We cannot not talk about the books that he's written. He has written many books. Those are science and technology textbooks, which I don't understand. I have brought the ones that I understand. So there are 5 here. Some of them have become bestsellers, and some of them have also become Book of the Year. We will maybe pick up one, and you could summarize for us. Let's start with, we talked about Kailash Satyarthi ji and Gandhian values. Timeless Inspirator, Reliving Gandhi was conceptualized and edited by you. Yeah. Maybe you can talk about this.
Yeah. I've been a trustee of Gandhi National Memorial Society, and I remember when 30 years were celebrated, I said, what would be the relevance of Gandhi today? So I invited some 50 thought leaders from the country to write about it. And there were people like Narayan Murthy, Gopal Krishna Gandhi, Mallika Sarabhai, Sunil Gavaskar, Kiran Bedi, Ilaben Bhatt, Sam Pitroda, Vijay Bhatkar, and Anil Kakodkar, Mohan Dharia, Mark Tully, M.S. Swaminathan, a whole range of people, from diverse.
I can also see Sachin. You even got Sachin to write. He
doesn't
Sachin,
write. Yeah, that was a special project of making Sachin write. Sachin also wrote, by the way, from all walks. And it is incredible. Everyone said that Mahatma Gandhi is more relevant today than he was in the 20th century. And you can see now. I mean, all these wars that are going on, young, innocent people being murdered. I mean, on the other day, I just got up on 17 November, I made a mention of that, I must make a mention here. What are those wars in Gaza? What are those people, Ukraine and so on and so forth. In fact, on 17 November, Manjiri, when I got up, because exercise in the morning, and that is this. I read for 2 hours in the morning, by the way. Yeah. So I opened up and saw a dreadful thing where a 4-year-old young boy, in the first bombing, he lost his father and mother. In the second bombing, he lost his both legs. And that poor child was crying, wanting to see the father and mother, wanting to walk. He will never be able to see the father and mother, and he will never be able to walk. What happens to you when you read that? Is this necessary? That's why Gandhi is more important here than this. I keep on going back to this book, by the way. It's something that I'm very, very sort of proud of.
We need more compassionate leaders
Yes.
like this in the world as we go forward. Surely, leapfrogging to pole vaulting has won the Tata Literary Life Business Book of the Year 2019. I don't know why this is called a Business Book of the Year. I think this has to be Life Book of the Year or Life Book of the Life, because this is applicable to anything really, from a business to government policies to a nation, also to an individual. So maybe you can tell us about this book here.
The origin of this book is very different. I've been the chairman of Reliance Innovation Council for a number of years. I've been on their board for almost 17 years. And this Reliance Innovation Council comprised Nobel laureates like John Maryland, Nobel laureates like Bob Grubbs, thought leaders like C.K. Prahlad, and so on and so forth. And once Mukesh and I were having a talk, and he said, Doc, we must leapfrog. So I said, Mukesh, do you know why the frog leaps? He said, I don't know. Then I said, I'll explain to you. He leaps because he's afraid of the predator, and he jumps a few feet, and again a few feet as a reaction. Should you be doing that because you are afraid of the competitor and you jump a few feet? Or should we pole vault? The size of the pole is the size of your aspiration. And that is where we created this program Beyonders, where young people who are able to think beyond the realms of possibilities and can sort of go there. म्हणजे मराठीत आपण ज्याला म्हणतो बेडोकुडी ते हनुमानगुडी हा त्यातला भाग आहे. But the most important part is creating the magic of radical yet sustainable transformation by doing that. And you can see that happening. For example, if you look at mobile data consumption, until in February 2017, among 231 nations, we are 156, right at the bottom. Within 1 year after Jio came, thanks to Mukesh, we did not leapfrog from 156 to 100. We pole vaulted to number 1. Okay? And after that, we have been number 1 all the time. Today we talk about big success of digital transformation of India. It happened because of that, because 4 rupees per GB and voice free, that was transformational, and today 500 million Indians are able to sort of enjoy that. And that has led to so many other things, like, for example, digital payments. We are number 1 in the world today, and 46.2% of the transactions today belong to India. And the most unbanked country in the world has transformed. So that is sustainable radical transformation, by the way. So that is the theme. And this book, yes, as you said, Tata Lit Live Business Book Award it sort of got. But I'm not so keen on selling large number of copies. What I'm keen on selling is large number of ideas from the book. How do you influence? And this book has been influential. It is being used sort of all over the world in many things. For example, Sushil, somebody asked me, you will pole vault, but how do you make sure that you don't break your back? So there is a chapter 3 which shows that in order that you have assured success in innovation, there is an assured framework that has been given. So the innovation has to have the following characteristics: affordable, scalable, sustainable, user-friendly, rapid, uh, using the excellence in technology, and also distinctive, not me too, all right, and so on. And we have shown, as a matter of fact, that can be converted into a quantitative matrix, all right. And then I started using this when our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji created the Swachh Bharat. I was appointed as the chairman of the standing committee on selecting the best technologies on drinking water and sanitation. All right, and rather than just doing it doing the selection by perception, I said, let us use this matrix, and it is semi-quantitative. Like when you say affordable, for example, a retrofitable toilet is more affordable than etc. So in each case, you can do that. And that has become a standard norm. Now the Ministry of Jal Shakti uses it, other ministries are using it. I'm happy to see Dina in the audience. You told me that TCS in some cases has been basically using it. It is being used sort of, even there are awards that have been created by Bombay Management Association, the Assured Enterprise of the Year award, and so on and so forth. And what happens? Startups are using it, investors are using it. It's a wonderful skill for awards, for example. This is being used as a screen. So I think that is the impact. I think it's not just the number of copies, because this is a literature festival, book literature festival. I wanted to emphasize that it is the number of ideas in the book, the way they influence become very critical.
You not only write new books, but you also create new words. Timeless inspirator. Inspirator is a new word. Exprovement is a new word.
Yeah. Yeah.
Book is called Exprovement.
Yeah. If you Google, you will not see the word exprovement. This book has been co-authored with Harsh Halatkar. I'm 81. 1st January I'll be 82. He's less than half my age, by the way. And he is twice as good as far as his intellect and thinking is concerned. Now, the subtitle of this book is very important. Exponential improvement through converging parallels. Now you said, come on, you must be joking, because parallel lines never converge. But what this book shows is that if you make them converge, you can create breakthroughs. Okay? For example, let's say, completely unrelated fields, you link them together and create sort of new ideas. For example, Henry Ford, when he created cars, every car used to take 12 hours for assembly. Okay? He brought it down to almost 1 hour. Okay, 1.5 hours. The cars were very expensive. He brought the cost down by a factor of 10. So you must feel that some person in auto manufacturing must have given him that idea. No. The idea came when he visited an animal slaughterhouse, because he saw, it was a meat packaging company, and he saw that the workers did not go to the cut parts. The cut parts came to the worker. Assembly line. So worker stands here and assembly line. And that he used in auto manufacturing. Now can you just imagine what is the connection between auto manufacturing and animal slaughterhouse? He connected the two and there was a revolution. Similarly, the book is full of sort of stories in terms of how this works. Like for example, Formula 1 race. When the tire has to be replaced, it is done in less than 5 seconds, right? Changeover. So toothpaste manufacturing company said that while we are changing the brands in an assembly line, why should it take 2 hours where it takes 5 seconds? And they started using that technique there, and then what happened? They could produce 2 million extra tubes every year. So like that there are so many examples. I will not get dwell into detail, but I think that's what this book is all about. I'm very happy that this is already in the 6th print, by the way. This was just released early in April, but this has picked up. Yeah.
Through converging parallels or converging parallel lines, I think this is what that boy in Gaza needs. You need converging lines to meet, and maybe the lens is not convex or concave, there it's compassion.
Compassion.
Right? That's what will ensure that we don't have such pain in the world. Let's get to your biography, the reason why this is so fat is because the author Sagar Deshpande did research for 11 full years on his life and then produced this book. It's called Durdamya Ashavadi, which you can explain what does it mean in English and
Yes.
why.
Well, this book is in Marathi, not in English, but English translation will be soon coming up. Yeah, Sagar Deshpande, I must give him full credit. He's amazing. 11 years of research that he did and brought this book out. This book is all about my life journey, to be honest, what I learned, where I failed, and what I did, etc., etc. Has been very popular. I mean, people are buying it in bulk and sending it to schools across in villages and so on and so forth. I think the basic idea is a boy who studied under streetlights can sign in the book that Newton has signed. You know, how can you do that? Inspiration. Because I always say, no matter where you are born, to whom you are born, under what conditions you are born, your destiny is in your own hand. Manjari, it's very interesting. I'll be leaving for Goa tomorrow to give a keynote in one particular function, but the following day I'm going to Sawantwadi. And in Maharashtra there are very interesting innovations that are taking place on this book, by the way. And that innovation has taken place in Sawantwadi. There is an educational institution who has bought 1,000 copies of this. Yeah. And these 1,000 copies have been distributed as Diwali gift to all students. And what they have done is that they want them to read it, not just possess it, understand it, learn from it. And so they have set up a competition, and that competition is such that in 300 words, they have to summarize what they learned from it, but more importantly, what are the 5 things they will do in life learning from this book. And the top 3 will be given an award, by the way, and I'll be having a conversation with them, and that is on the 20th, basically. So it is interesting, Maharashtra, there is something special about Maharashtra, I would say. Yeah.
Excellent. Something that India requires desperately, reinventing India. Maybe you would.
Yes. Yeah, reinventing India, reimagining India, rethinking India has been the subject of my life. I've been talking about it. This book also became very popular. In fact, what had happened was that Pranab Mukherjee, late Pranab Mukherjee, when he was the president, he had invited me to talk about innovations. And I presented this copy to him. And overnight, his staff tells me he went through it. And then what he did was that in 3 days' time, there was a Republic Day and lots of foreign visitors were going to give. President's office ordered 200 copies and sort of delivered them. And then he had these central universities, chancellors coming. He brought these and sort of delivered to them, etc. So it is nice to see your book land in president's books, sort of story. So these are the 5 books, these are the stories around the books.
When you retired as Director General of CSIR India, the then Prime Minister Manmohan Singh sir said, Mashelkar, your best days are yet to come. My other guru, Mukesh Ambani, very recently on your 80th birthday said, Doc, your best days are yet to come. I agree with them, both of them. But I also understand that with your best days to come, I think India's best days are also yet to come. And you have a vision for India. Maybe what is your vision for the next 25 years? And what do we as Indians need to do for that?
Yes, you know, we are celebrating India at 75. I'm concerned about Bharat at 75. That Bharat which lives in villages, 70% of them. That Bharat where in urban cities 1 out of 6 lives in slums. That Bharat where 1 out of 5 is below the poverty line. That Bharat where 1 out of 6 is illiterate. I'm concerned about that Bharat. So we can't imagine India at 100 without thinking of Bharat at 100. If India at 100 is also the same as, I mean, the Bharat at And that is where I think I would like to have a dream for New India, which is having some facets. First is Santulan, Santulit, balance, where there is a balance between environment, ecology, economics, equity and ethics. Also Santulan in terms of inequalities. Inequalities are rising, rich are becoming richer, poor are becoming poorer. I'm a crazy person, dangerous optimist. Caste, class, language is dividing India. Can we imagine a casteless India? Can you imagine a classless India? Again, I'm crazy. I'll not be there when India at 100 gets celebrated, but I will leave my wish behind, the Santulan. Sushasit, education, we have talked about. But as I said, there has to be enlightenment and empowerment through that education. That is very, very important. Samruddha, I would not like India to end up as a kind of a middle income country. It is possible that we can exponentially grow and become a rich country, but equitable distribution. Then there is Sushasit, governance is very critical. I think we can't sort of do without it. We have to be also Surakshit in terms of energy security, food security, all other securities. Transition to renewable energy is not going to be painless, it is going to be painful. And how do we do a just transition? For example, our energy, 70% comes from coal. Can you shut down the coal mines immediately? No. What happens to the jobs and so on? So how do you manage that? And finally, I like to see Swanandi, a happy India. When J.R.D. Tata got Bharat Ratna, he was asked, what is your dream for India? And he said, yes, I will like it to be a rich country, but more important is it's being a happy country. So that would be briefly my dream.
India, Bharat both at 100 would require Indians and Bhartiyas at 100.
Yeah.
What would be your mantras? What would be your life lessons
Yeah.
that we should carry to ensure that this dream of yours becomes true?
Yes, I think maybe we can end with this because I can see that we have exceeded the time, but being the last session, we took the liberty. I hope that is all right. Yes, I like to see 81 going to 82 means I've learned a lot by not only succeeding but also failing, And about failing, there is something very important. As long as you learn from it, you can. So I've learned. So if you ask me about 5 mantras, they'll be following. And that I have learned from my own life's experience. The first is aspirations are your possibilities. Keep them high. Okay? Because if you aim at Everest, that is very important. You will end up at least at Kanchenjunga. But if you aim at Kanchenjunga, not even Hanuman Tikri. And if you aim at Hanuman Tikri, you'll be where you are. So keep them high. And it is possible because the innate capacity that we have in each one of us, realizing the potential is the major challenge. Like National Chemical Laboratory. 1976 I joined the lab. 1989 I became the director. 1989 was 2 years before liberalization. And therefore what were we doing? We are a protected country, copying, reverse engineering, import substituting. Anytime we did something which was ahead of the world, Indian companies will not take it. Why? Mindset. They would say, but have they done it? Has Japan done it? Has US done it? How can you do it? So on the very first day, I simply said, National Chemical Laboratory will be International Chemical Laboratory. What is my market? What am I selling? Knowledge. I can sell it all around the world. That was something audacious. And I remember, we were a laboratory where there were 0 US patents, and I said, we'll export our knowledge through patents, licensing patents. Can you just imagine In a lab where there are 0 patents, I am saying we license it to the US. And I remember somebody coming to me and saying, I had talked about General Electric and licensing our patents to them because I'm a polymer guy, I had read something about it. And he said, geez, R&D budget is 2.5 times India's R&D budget. You know, I said, it's not the power of the budget, the power of idea that matters. And to the same G, we were able to license patents, by the way, close to $1 million the same scientists who were doing just import substitution were able to export to the leader in the world. Same scientists. It's a question of aspiration. So that is my first lesson, aspire. The second one is you can do anything, but not everything. So focus. And that lesson actually, I think there is a famous story now in terms of, my mother. I was studying in municipal school and I was in 7th standard Marathi school, had to go to 8th standard and required 21 rupees for uniform, shoes and everything. And it took her 21 days to get it by borrowing from a housemaid, her friend. And I went to a poor school because by that time admissions to good schools were closed. But that was a breakthrough in my life because that poor school had rich teachers. And one of them, Principal Bhave, took us out into the sun and showed how to find the focal length. He had the convex lens, he had a piece of paper, he moved it up and down the lens, and there was the brightest spot and the paper burnt. And he said, like this, if you focus, you can achieve anything in the world. That was a warm moment, Sushil, in my life, because I said, science is so fantastic, I will become. But later, I said, focus and you can achieve anything, and that's what I've done. And later on, as I sort of grew, I saw more meaning in it, because convex lens, those parallel lines, they can never meet, but convex lens make them meet. Why are they parallel? Like today, race, religion, language, you don't meet. Good leadership will make them meet. And I use that all along in my career, whether bringing NCL as a team, CSR, 40 labs as a team, Global Research Alliance, as a team, etc. And in my life, I have kept focus. For example, I remember getting a call from Prime Minister's office, Kutti Nair, saying that Prime Minister wants me to be the member Science Planning Commission. That's a Minister of State level position, and I declined it. Similarly, there was a call about being a Rajya Sabha member. I declined it. I remained focused on what I wanted to do. So I think that's very important. That's the second. The third is purpose, perseverance, and passion. You have to have the big purpose. Perseverance. Winners never quit, quitters never win. And passion. In life, I found that to be very important. The fourth one is that you keep on knocking on the doors and they don't open. Create your own doors. Now you would say, how? So I remember when I joined in 1976, India was a poor country. I was trained in non-Newtonian fluid mechanics. I wanted a measurement device called rheogoniometer. It would take me 2 years. Digitally clearance, not manufactured in India, certificate. So that door was not opening. I created my own door. I said, what is the equipment God has given me? This. And I went into mathematical modeling and simulation. And as you know, Bhatnagar Prize is the highest science prize for people scientists under 45. I got that 2007 to 1977 to 82. In 82, I sort of got it. Now just imagine, I was saying I will wait till that equipment come. What would have happened, as a matter of fact? So particularly my message for the young is, don't keep on knocking on the doors. Create your own doors. And the final point, before we close, is the message I talked to you about Professor C.N.R. Rao. It's incredible, he has had such an influence on my life, I will tell you. See, I became FRS. And as I said, 3 engineering scientists in 363 years. So, called him, I said, sir, I have become FRS. I thought he will applaud. No, not bad. You get FRS, and he says, not bad. American Academy of Arts and Science, I was the 7th Indian from 1780 to become one. Again called him, not bad. So I said, third or seven doesn't work. I became National Academy of Inventors, the first Indian from India. So I said, sir, I will become this. Still he said, not bad. Then I got angry. I said, sir, what do I have to do to impress you? And that's the message I want to leave for young people. He said, Mashelkar, you are climbing on a ladder of excellence which is unlimited. The only limit is what you put on yourself. So if you translate it in other ways, it means that no matter what you achieve, you have to say, my best is yet to come. Even at this age, 82, when I get up in the morning, I say my best is yet to come. And it will be today. So whether you are 18 or 80 like me, always get up early in the morning, and whenever you get up, you say my best is yet to come, and today is going to be that day. And my best does not mean just for myself, my society, for nation. And Sushil, you can imagine if 1.4 billion Indians do that every day for 365 days, where will India be? Right up there. Thank you.
Absolutely. Manjari, many people wish and say that he should get the Nobel Prize and Bharat Ratna. We all, of course, agree with that, surely. I don't know about that, but thank you for giving me my best prize to be here on this stage, okay, with this great man today. I think I've earned my best prize in my life. Thank you very much. I think we have some questions, or how are we doing on time?
I think we are quite run out.
Okay, all right, okay. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you. We are so happy. Unless there is there's someone to ask you. You want to ask? Okay, one quick question. Let's take it.
So my name is Sapnil Mane, and I want to ask you, in your book Reinventing India, in your very first chapter, you have told about the new Panchashilas for new millennium. Today, after 25 years almost, we are reaching to. How do you look at that?
Is Panchashil still relevant since the time you spoke about it in Science Congress?
I think that's a very important question, as a matter of fact. If you see, when you read the book or my speech, you will say that it was about new Panchashil for the new millennium. I had said that. And that Panchashil, for those of you who do not know that, is child-centered education, woman-centered family, human-centered development, knowledge-centered society, and innovation-centered India. And I had said there that this will be as applicable now as it will be next millennium and the following week. These are all sort of fundamental principles. So I believe these are sort of eternal principles, I would say. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. I think you've run out of time. Thank you very much.
We are so happy that we got a glimpse into Dr. Mashelkar's incredible and inspiring journey. His profound wisdom has added value to all our lives. Thank you, Dr. Mashelkar, and thank you, Mr. Sushil Borde, for this intriguing conversation, and of course for being our PILF guests. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you, my dear audience, for being with us on this literary journey for the last 2 days. And we hope you enjoyed being a part of the same. We are looking forward that in the coming year you will join us again for a whole new set of interesting discussions and conversations. And Happy New Year to all of you in advance. Thank you, good night, Bodh Noi, and Shabak Khair.